Look around you. The old ways, the tried and true strategies, it's all crumbling beneath the weight of a world that no longer cares about profit alone, no longer respects success if it's built on exploitation or empty numbers on a balance sheet. There's a storm raging, a revolution not shouted from the rooftops, but whispered in boardrooms, family offices, private meetings, where the ultra-rich are quietly rewriting the rules of what it means to hold power. You feel it too, the gnawing frustration when your capital, after years of relentless pursuit, stares back at you like a hollow victory. It's not enough. The old metrics, returns, market share, headline numbers, have lost their meaning. Or worse, they feel like a trap. They strip away the soul from the wealth you've built, leaving a residue of bitterness. You're angry, right? Angry at a system that values riches but forgets responsibility. But here's the truth. No one dares say out loud, money alone is powerless. Angry at yourself for chasing numbers that once promised freedom but only delivered stress, sleepless nights, and a nagging sense that the world is burning while you watch. It cannot buy legacy or peace or impact. The ultra-rich are waking up because they're not just chasing wealth anymore, they're chasing meaning. They're sick of empty victories and soulless gains. The switch to impact-driven capital isn't a trend, it's a survival strategy, a brutal, necessary reinvention of what wealth means. And you, sitting there, holding your family's future in your hands, you must stop pretending that piling up capital is the ultimate goal. It's not. It's a weapon, and like any weapon, it demands responsibility, precision, and courage to wield it for something bigger. You want to know what this looks like? Listen closely. First, tear down the illusion that your wealth is an island. Family offices can no longer operate as secretive vaults of legacy finance. They must become networks, living, breathing ecosystems of power and purpose. Start connecting, not just with other investors, but with founders and builders who are not afraid to shake the foundations of old industries. Your capital must flow like blood in a living organism, not stuck and stagnant, hoarded out of fear or tradition. Syndicate aggressively, share risk boldly, collaborate ferociously. Find those innovators who are rewriting the rules, whether it's clean energy, regenerative agriculture, or technologies that extend human potential, and pour capital into them with relentless conviction. This is not philanthropy. This is strategic liberation. When your investments align with impact, you're not just avoiding future risks, you're creating future realities. Your wealth will grow because you're betting on the world that will be, not the world that is. Second, demand radical transparency and accountability, not just from your investments, but from yourself. Stop tolerating vague reporting or surface-level certification. Insist on real metrics. Outcomes that show lives changed, ecosystems restored, technologies scaled, inequalities shattered. If you don't know exactly what your capital is doing on the ground, you're flying blind. This means family offices must build new infrastructures internally, impact officers who are as skilled as CFOs, data analysts who track social returns as rigorously as financial ones, and governance that holds all actors accountable. Don't settle for impact washing or the safety of doing good with minimal effort. Demand rigor, demand bravery, demand transformation. Third, dismantle the old mindset of wealth preservation and replace it with a mindset of wealth evolution. Meaning, your family office must think not just about how to pass wealth to the next generation, but how to pass them a mission, a purpose, a role as stewards of change. Engage your next gene now. Don't just train them in finance. Immerse them in world problems. Introduce them to activists and entrepreneurs. Force them to confront uncomfortable realities. Structure your governance to empower bold decisions, to embrace calculated failures, and to kill projects that grow stagnant or selfish. This is about forging leaders, not inheritors. Leaders who know their capital is a force of liberation, not constraint. Leaders who won't fear the unknown, but will build it with brutal clarity and relentless optimism. Fourth, embrace the global, transcend borders entirely. The ultra-rich who cling to nationalism or narrow localism are already on the losing side of history. Capital must flow where the problems are greatest and the opportunities for impact most explosive. This means learning to operate in brutal complexity without being paralyzed by endless due diligence or risk aversion. This means building local partnerships that allow you to get your hands dirty in communities half a world away, partnering with emerging markets, new technologies, unheard voices. This is not charity, it's leverage. The biggest returns, the biggest breakthroughs, come from places where the system hasn't yet hardened. If you refuse this global vision, you may preserve capital, but you will miss true impact. You will miss the future seat, the power to shape what comes next. Fifth, elevate capital itself to a tool of transformation, not just profit. Stop treating investments as isolated bets. Start layering capital strategies, blending grants, patient capital, venture, and private equity into complex solutions tailored for impact. Family offices must become labs of innovation, testing new financial instruments like revenue-based financing linked to social outcomes, impact bonds tied to environmental restoration, or blended capital stacks uniting public money with private dynamism. This will require hiring people who don't just understand finance but understand systems change. This is hard. This is risky, but this is unavoidable. Finally, cultivate a fierce culture of individual freedom with values-driven discipline inside your family office. This may be the ultimate paradox, but is the heart of transformation. Every person involved, from family leaders to advisors, must be untouchable in their freedom to innovate and challenge, but fiercely loyal to the mission of impact. This is the secret weapon. When you build a culture where questioning the status quo is the norm and values are lived daily, you don't just build wealth, you build a movement. This movement, this force, will transcend borders, ideologies, generations. It will rewrite rules. Right now, the ultra-rich are switching to impact-driven capital because they refuse to be prisoners of illusions anymore. They know the old game is over. They know wealth without purpose is a poison. And here's the brutal promise. If you fail to evolve, you will squander everything. Capital will stagnate. Generations will falter. The system will swallow your legacy whole. But if you fight, if you take these steps with fire in your bones, you will become a beacon not just of wealth, but of change. You will be one of the few capable of reshaping the future through family offices that don't just hold assets, but unlock humanity's greatest power. Freedom born from responsibility, power born from purpose, legacy born from impact. No more hiding, no more waiting. The time is now. Be the storm or be the calm before it.